3-run home run! Kerry Carpenter!
They give it to Jameer. Big hole. There he goes down to the 20-yard line. Angling to the 15. Gone, baby. 5. End zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Cade to the basket. Hooks on the run. He hits it. Pistons are back up.
Pass over the line. Here's Kane on a change. He scores! He caught the Flyers changing. Patrick Kane with a shot inside the left goal post.
It's Williams in motion. Low snap. Melrose stopped! Michigan makes a stand and comes up with a milestone playoff victory.
Now it's working. And we're muted.
We have to do a mic check.
Oh.
Test the air horn.
Okay, she says, there you go.
Try recording again. All right, we should be back live. Sorry about that. As soon as the show started, the soundboard crashed or something. So, but if you guys can hear us now, that is good.
So then do I just like start?
Yeah, we will start right now.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm a sports kid, and this is my dad, and we're here to bring you the latest Detroit sports and more.
That is right. We got a exciting show today for you. It's Memorial Day.
Yeah, the Pat Tillman special.
The Pat Tillman special. Thought that would be very fitting to talk about the life and legacy of Pat Tillman. But we've got some other exciting stuff to talk about before we get into that.
Yeah.
Emery's got some notes. Aside from that, any big news? Not really. We did get some business cards printed.
Yeah.
Emery's already been handing those out. Let him share more about that. And we do have the Detroit Sports Spectacular coming up this weekend. So
yeah,
looking forward to that. Other than that, Emery, what do you got for us?
We're gonna put it up.
You can learn. You're gonna have to learn to run the laptop.
Oh.
There you go.
So we've got a great show for you today, as always. We're gonna be talking about the Tigers game we went to, and my baseball season so far, and most importantly, the life and legacy of Pat Tillman. But first, recent scores and updates. So the Tigers beat the Giants 3-1 today, after going 3-1 against the series, in the series with Cleveland.
1-3.
Or yeah, 1-3.
What's their record now?
Like 34 and like 20, I think.
All right, we can look it up.
The New York Knicks beat the Pacers yesterday, 106 to 100, and are trailing in the series 2-1. So they're making kind of a comeback, if you say that. And then on Saturday, the OKC Thunder lost to the Timberwolves 143 to 101, but are leading the series 2-1. So
143.
yeah, that's 245 points scored combined.
That's nuts. And this is a semi-championship game, right?
Yeah, that's the craziest part about it.
Yeah. All right, so what else? That was anything else? What else recent scores and updates wise is there? It's really it. Tigers are still doing good.
Yeah. They struggled, but
Struggled
Cleveland.
against Cleveland, which we can talk about here in a minute. The Indy 500 was yesterday.
Yeah, I don't even know who won.
Yeah, I don't know. We kind of watched that for a minute. Yeah, what all other sports people have been talking about? Hey, maybe you need to start talking about fishing, hunting, some other sports, summer sports, volleyball, badminton, tennis,
I will say
soccer.
someone did request Caitlin Clark, so
Yeah, we can talk about Caitlin Clark maybe next time.
yeah.
Okay.
Besides that, I don't think there's any other recent scores and updates.
Yeah, if anybody has any requests for some recent scores and updates or sports or topics that you might want us to talk about or Emery to dive into, let us know.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do you want to talk about first?
I say my baseball season.
All right, how is your baseball season? I'm going to try to adjust this on the screen. Go ahead.
So I think we're 1-7, right? Or 2-7, or like 2-6. I don't know, something like that. Because I'm pretty sure we've. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we're 2-6.
All right. We are back. Hopefully you can hear us okay. Give us a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear us. Do not know what's going on with the soundboard in the laptop. We just did a full reboot on the laptop, so hopefully we're good now. But we are going to just keep rolling with it. So we were talking about the
Baseball season.
Dodgers baseball. You're 2-6. How's that going?
We won yesterday, or not yesterday, Friday, but barely.
Yeah.
That last inning, we were almost done, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have been struggling a little bit. Pitching struggles a little bit. Hitting struggles, but you guys hit the ball.
Yeah.
So you're doing better. We got a couple games this week.
Yeah, we have 2 games. Yeah, right? Yeah, we have 2 games on Wednesday and Friday. And then on Wednesday, we're playing the team that those are our only wins against them. And then the other team is like...
One of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right. We'll have fun out there. So, all right. What else did you have for us? We went to a Tigers game.
Yeah.
Want to share your fun, exciting stories about that?
Where's that ball at?
The ball?
Yeah.
We're just going to have to talk about it. It's downstairs.
So who are your standout players currently by AM? We have like 3 or 4 players that are like standout, kind of.
Yeah. Are you going to talk or you get...
Well,
you got to keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah, we have like 3 or 4 players that are standout that can bat, hit, defend, heads up baseball. We have like probably 2 or 3 in that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say probably 3 or 4 main players.
Yeah.
And then
Make sure you're looking at that camera, remember?
And then besides that, it's a bit struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of struggle this year with the team. But
Yeah.
let's talk about that Tigers game we went to.
So
Because that was fun.
see, on Saturday, we went to the Tigers Cleveland game. It was game 3, and if you get there early, you can go down by the dugout and you just wait and see if any players walk by, and you might be able to get autographs if they come by, if they're in the good mood to like sign or that kind of thing. So we were probably waiting there for an hour, at least, I'd say. Probably down there for an hour, just waiting. No hopes of any sign of life. And then all of a sudden, Kerry Carpenter comes out. And so all these people, there was a good amount of people down there before. But then all of a sudden, when Kerry Carpenter walks over, people start bum rushing down to the dugout. There's tons of people. And I'm just in the back. And my dad's like, well, if you want to get it, you have to push through them all and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but I don't really want to push through them. And I said, well, then you're not getting it. So I just went through and just started pushing through all of them. Got up right in there. Handed him my pen. And, there's, the netting up there now. And, in the corners, there's, little holes that, I don't know.
That's where the nets overlap.
Yeah. And it's not zip tied or whatever. So you can just stick your hand up there and just give them the ball and then they sign it. So I was pushing all these kids out of the way. I handed him my pen. He signed someone else's, and I stuck the ball up in there, and I got it. So that's cool.
Yeah, one of the downsides, if you haven't been to a baseball game in a while, or definitely Comerica Park, is they've got netting all the way around.
Yeah.
Pretty much, well, past first base and third base
Yeah.
a ways, and it's got to be 20 feet up in the air, 30 feet up in the air.
It's
So the days of getting down there, getting close, and trying to easily get an autograph are gone. They basically, players have to, they're pinched down to like one little area if they are going to do it. You can kind of stand by the corner of the dugout. Same thing. There's like a gap in the netting where you can kind of sneak a ball or something there.
Now, like, some people, like, there's these one people that were there before we were even there. They're just all on the side of the dugout. They should not have been there. None of those people got it. Because they just wait by the dugout thinking that someone might come over. But they have, like, it's, like, blocked off pretty much for the players because they have, like, big old cameras and stuff. So you can't even get over there. So all those people that are trying to wait by the dugout, they're not even going to get it. So you have to, like, be down, kind of have to be down there waiting.
Right.
And there's always older, like 20-year-olds or whatever that all know and have done it a ton of times. And they just get down there as quick as they can and just block everything. It's funny.
Yeah, it's a bummer. And then on where we were at, on the like third base side of the home plate or the home team dugout, Tigers dugout, if you're by home plate, that side of the dugout, you can't even get over there anymore. They put in these special
like
VIP seats. I forget what they call them. They're super high dollar seats. They're heated. They're cooled.
Are they like $400 some or something?
Yeah, something like that. But
and no one.
Yeah, they're empty most of the time.
There might be like 4 or 5 people.
That stadium was packed the game we were at.
Yeah.
But if you watch on TV and you're
you
watching
can't
the
see
batter,
anything.
Well,
it's just like empty.
Yeah, there's a lot of empty seats back there.
Well, like before, back there was all like the regular seats, but I mean they were a bit more expensive.
Yeah, but they're always full.
Yeah, and there was just packed.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, and what's weird is like there's like a wall there too. It just blocks everyone out.
Yeah, you can't even get to the home plate side of the dugout.
Yeah.
So it's not, to me, part of going to the ball game is trying to get down there early, trying to get autographs, see some of the players, get close. And they've kind of screwed that up, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the netting is there for safety reasons, which I understand, but
people still get hit.
Yeah, the ball still, foul balls, most of them go up and over the net.
And like there's still, I mean, I guess by the time it gets up there, it's like has already like lost speed and stuff, but it still is hard.
Yeah.
And even today, when people break their bats or like fly them or like sometimes they like let go of their bat and it just flies.
Right.
Like
usually they break. But.
Yeah.
Well, that was the beginning of the game. What other highlights?
And then, so we went down there with Brett from the Mitten State Sports Corner, and we were trying to do like a, what would you call it? Like a mid-game update, kind of.
Yeah, mid-game, yep.
And so the spot that we were in was really cool. Like, if those people weren't like blocking the fence, it would be so cool. But it was okay. So we were over there. We did that for a while, which was cool. And then, we just kind of walked around the stadium, kind of thing. Went into the the D shop, which is like the merchandise store. It's pretty cool in there. I feel like they like rearranged it from the last time we were there, and like before you would go in, and right away you just see a giant wall of just hats, and it was awesome. There's just tons of hats, and they had a ton of them. We walked, because I was kind of wanting a hat. I didn't end up getting one, but I kind of wanted one. And we walk in and we're like, where's the hat wall? So we walk around the whole entire store trying to find this hat wall. And it's like the hat corner now. And it's like condensed pretty much.
Yeah.
But
did you get something from the D shop?
I got this jersey.
Yes, Emery walked out with a nice new Tigers jersey. We didn't realize until before the game, just before the game, that the jerseys that he's had don't fit him anymore. So he ended up getting a nice new jersey. So that was nice. That was cool.
And then we watched. So, So, after we were done with that, we're walking back to our seats. Okay. Brett had already gotten back in there. And there's just a guy in our seats. But he wasn't just a regular guy. This guy had superpower. No,
I'm going to turn your seat so you are forced to stare at the camera. You keep wanting to look at the other screen. There.
So we come back, and there's this guy. So, but he has tons of like posters. Like, I don't even know how many he probably had. He probably had 50. 20. Probably had 50 or so posters. There's just tons of them. And it's not like they're like all folded up in a binder or something. They're just all over the ground. Just everywhere. It was crazy. And someone would come up to bat and just start going through them all.
Yeah.
And he'd just grab them and he's like, oh yeah, this one. And then he'd start yelling at the crowd. And it was...
He had a poster
for every situation.
Every situation, every scenario. And that was just the poster part. He had a poster for Torque or Torque Bomb or
everything.
Everything.
Every situation, you name it, he had a poster.
Yeah, stack.
There's tons of them.
They're all over the ground.
It was crazy.
But what got crazier
is like I look over, because it's kind of hard to look away, you know, because like it's like, you know, and I look at his shirt. Well, I think that he has like 2 or 3 jerseys on or something, because I could see like multiple different like tips or whatever. Well, all of a sudden, they put in Will Vest to close out the game because he's like their closer. They put him in. He just starts ripping off jerseys. He just starts, you're like the entire 40-man roster. He's just like pulling jerseys off his back. It's crazy. He had
to have had
every player. He had a jersey.
At least a dozen different jerseys, I would say.
And it was like,
and he's not just pulling them off over his shoulder, like had like normal people take their shirts off.
He's like,
he was pulling it like that without trying to rip everything off in here. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was.
And what he did was he actually looked down his collar and was counting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And he knew he had to take 10 off. And so then he just started pulling them over his head.
It was.
And finally got down to it.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it like, jerseys are like really, like, it's crazy how much they cost and stuff.
Well, he had a lot of like different types of like jerseys too, though.
Well, yeah, but they
like
were
college jerseys.
No, but they were all authentic Nike.
Yeah.
Like for what's his name, Gleyber Torres, Gleyber Torres. He had like a Venezuelan one, and then like Veerling, I think it was. He had like a Twins jersey. Like his Will Vest jersey, he just cut the sleeves off because why not? It was weird, but he had like for Javier Baez, it was like Dominican Republic or whatever. He had like, didn't matter what it was, he had a jersey for it, and it was just funny.
And we will post the video to our Facebook page So I won't be able to. I can't really show it on this right now, but we'll get it. We had a comment come in that says show the video. We'll get it posted to the Facebook page.
It's just crazy. And it was like, probably like, I don't even know, $1,300 of jerseys.
Yeah, it was the guy was crazy.
Yeah.
He was hyped though. I mean, so by the way, I was on Instagram and I think it was like Barstool Detroit or something posted a video of him from that game. Somebody was at like a different angle and videoing him, and a lot of different comments about him, a lot of different opinions. A lot of people don't like him. I guess he's been at other games and stuff too. Couple people, somebody said, "Hey, that's my daughter's gym coach," or something. So he's apparently a teacher, gym physical ed teacher. But I don't know. I actually kind of liked him. I thought he was.
I don't know. Got the fans.
He was a little wild, little out there, but he definitely got the fans into it.
Did his income go to season tickets? Maybe. And jerseys? Probably. But what was crazy is it was like he's on payroll there. He's like grading the fans when they're leaving. He's like, safe drives. You're missing the comeback. And when we were down in the 10th inning, he said, I don't know why you guys are all leaving. You can't have an awesome comeback if you're not down.
That was the best line. Yeah, I think he said, you can't have an epic comeback if you aren't down. And then several times, I mean, what was it? He was just trying, he was the hype man. He was like, when I say Colt, you say Keith. Colt, Keith, Colt, Keith. I mean, it was entertaining. It was fun.
And he was like, torque, 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 torque.
Torque, torque, torque. I mean, to me, going to the ballpark, the weather was beautiful, by the way. It was amazing weather. It was great. I loved it.
No, he was like so into it that he was like, why isn't the Jumbotron saying who's up next? He's like, I need to dig through my posters to see because I need to find my jersey or the poster.
Yeah, he couldn't see the lineup.
And the funny part is that he pulled all those jerseys off, but then he's just constantly putting them back on and ripping them
he
off.
would put jersey, whoever was up to bat, he was putting that jersey on or finding the guy was a lot of energy with him. So what else? So the Tigers ended up
losing.
Okay, so they lost.
They shaked it.
But to me, one of the coolest parts of the game happened after the game.
But the coolest part of going down there was after the game.
Yeah, so why don't you explain what happened?
His version of the wave.
Yeah.
That's true. So then after the game, we were down we left the stadium and we thought Brett thought that we could do like a
post-game interview.
A post-game
or recap.
And so we were doing that and we talked for a while and then we did that and we towards the end of it.
So hold on, let's paint the picture for some people listening, whatever. So we're on the street next to Comerica Park.
Yeah.
I'm videoing. Emery and Brett are in the street.
Okay.
Kind of the backdrop is one of the entrances there, the Meyer entrance, I believe they call it.
Yeah.
They're discussing the game and how it went and that. So, and it was going good.
So to kind of like give a surrounding kind of thing. So across the Meyer entry or exit or whatever you want to call it, there's the players' parking garage. So all the players, so like in the dugout or like in the locker room, there's like, I'd imagine there's a tunnel that leads out to the parking garage, and they all go up in there. They either walk out the door and walk down to their car wherever it is, or they get in their car and they leave out there. And a lot of people stay to get autographs and stuff like that. but it was late, so we didn't do that. But we had done that before. But Andy Dirt, or I just pretty much said it all. So Andy Dirks, he walks out of the parking garage every game. He walks out there and goes to his car after every game. So we thought that we would wait. We thought that we would do the thing and see if Andy Dirks walked by. So we were doing the thing, and sure enough, he did. So we start talking, or we did like.
Well, Andy noticed right away. He's like, "Oh, are you guys doing?"
He's like, "You guys mic'd up?"
You guys mic'd up. Yep. And so he had seen that they were mic'd up, and they said hi to him and said, "Hey, do you want to join us?" And
so we talked a little bit,
and he said sure, and he walked up and started asking questions and
which
answering.
was cool.
Yep.
But then, so the business card played a key factor in this. So I brought business cards because you got to be prepared, and I gave him one, and he looked at it and he's like, "Oh, that's cool," and he said, "What's your name?" And I told him my name, and he was like, "Well, do you want to be on my post-game recap?" And I was like, "Sure." So I look over, and you and Brett have like the biggest smiles, and then we just start talking till it was just did this video
So
kind of
Andy
thing.
Dirks, just to back up, always does these post game recaps. So just to explain who Andy Dirks is.
So he used to play for the Tigers. I don't know, back in the day or whatever, and
Back in the day.
now he is
He's in the broadcast booth.
yeah. So
For
is he
most
now?
most games. He's
So-
in the broadcast booth doing commentary.
Yeah,
So he does a post game recap.
every game, and then he posts it on Facebook.
Yep. And he walks as he's walking to his car, does a little video, and so
Yeah.
he invited Emery to be on it the other night, and he asked Emery some questions, and yeah.
And then because I gave him the business card, which had all the information on it, he tagged us in it, which was probably the best part about it, kind of.
The best part about it was that he did it.
Well, yeah,
The
but,
tagging is like icing on the cake, kind of.
yeah, because then everyone knew, kind of.
I got to see. So yeah, that was definitely, even though the Tigers won, having Andy Dirks come and talk with you and Brett, and then invite you to do the post game thing, that was awesome of him.
Yeah, it was cool because like when we had been there before, like when he had been to the other games, besides the one that was downpouring, he's always walked by, and the last time, I don't know, you kind of like talked to him or something like that. But
Well, you got his autograph though.
yeah,
last time.
I got his autograph. Last time we were there, didn't they lose that game? The game
They lost the game that we went to. Yes.
yeah.
We'll get the clip of that. So we'll post all of those clips to our Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
Just for people to see. The post-game interview one is already up there on Facebook. I don't know that I posted it to YouTube, but we'll get those up there.
Yeah. But it was really cool because, like, and what's cool is he's, like, always, like, down if, like, people, like, want to, like, take a photo or autograph or something. He's like, sure. Like, he just does it kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Andy's a cool dude, so awesome. So, yeah, we had a good time. It's cool that Brett was down there with us. He was able to make it, and I think he had a good time, and yeah.
But the other thing there is when we went to the game, it was what was it like? What night was it? Like cancer night?
Oh, cancer something awareness night or
Yeah.
something. Breast cancer night something.
Yeah, something like that. So the first 15,000 fans got a hat, and I was like, oh, I want that hat. And I said, we're going to get down there. And we ended up, but it was, you wouldn't, 15,000 is, like, you think it's like not that much, but it really is so much.
Yeah.
We're down there. Everyone has these hats on. And I don't know how there was only 15,000. Like, like if you were up on the upper deck, you'd just be seeing these pink striped hats.
Yeah.
It was.
And we were a little nervous because it took us a bit longer to get there. Once we got down into the D, there's quite a bit of traffic. There's some concerts going on. But thankfully, the parking garage we were in is right across from the stadium. It's like right there. But we made it in, and they had stacks of hats. So Emery was able to get one. So yeah, we will try to get some more tickets, try to get back down there. Maybe a couple more times this year. I was saying to people, man, I really wish the stadium was closer to our house. I don't wish that we lived closer to the stadium because I don't want to live any closer to Detroit. But I wish the stadium was closer to our house because there's just something about being at a baseball game, especially on a Saturday night or Friday night. The weather was amazing. I don't know. I love it. I love the atmosphere down there.
My games are cool because, like, you have, like, the lights.
Yeah, it starts out, sun's out, shining, sun sets.
My mom was like, well, aren't you going to, like, bring some hand warmers and some blankets or something? And I don't get cold. I think cold is just a mindset. She doesn't. So I'm like, I'm not going to need that. Well, we get down there. It wasn't, like, really hot out, but it was, like, hot. Like what it had been like the days before.
It was nice.
It was hot.
Well, you got Mel from Tallahassee listening, so hot to her is a little bit different than hot to us.
Yeah, hot to Michiganders.
It was like a hot 60, 65.
Yeah.
With the sun shining.
Hot to them is like 115. So.
Yeah, I think it was literally like 65 degrees. The sun was shining.
Yeah, but it was.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was perfect. All right, let's move into our next segment here. Let me get the notes pulled up. Just a second.
One thing I was thinking about is because, like, next weekend is the Detroit Sports Spectacular thing, and then it's gonna be our 20th episode. What if we, like, got something down there to do on guess?
Yeah. We'll come up with something. So, all right, are you able to read those notes?
Yeah.
So, why don't you read...
Okay, so do I...
Yeah, if you need to pull it closer.
Do I start up there and then read that?
Read this.
Okay.
And then what I'd like to do is we're going to do a little moment of silence. It is Memorial Day. So we'll get that turned on. And then, why don't you just read that topic thing there?
So today we're diving into the story of Pat Tillman, a man who gave up his NFL career to serve his country and became an American hero.
All right, here we go. Should be. right. Well, I thought it would be very fitting Memorial Day weekend. We moved the podcast recording to today instead of yesterday, and thought, man, it would be cool to talk about Pat Tillman.
Yeah.
Which Emery knew a little bit about Pat Tillman.
Yeah, I like seen videos about like people who kind of like left their career and like joined the military. But I don't need to say that other one, but it's like completely unrelated.
Yeah. So,
But I really want to say it.
well, it's fitting. Pat Tillman, former football player, professional athlete, gives up everything to go serve his country. Really cool story. And so we've got a couple segments here. Emery's going to read through each segment, and then we'll just kind of discuss it, but kind of breaks down his story.
My teacher did say I'm one of the best readers that she knows, so.
Oh, jeez. All right, so let's get into segment one. Go ahead and read it for us.
So Pat Tillman was born in Fremont, California in 1976. High school standout at Leland High School, playing football, baseball, and wrestling. Known for his intensity and loyalty, helped his team win a Central Coast Section championship in football. Recruited to play football at Arizona State University, played linebacker at ASU, earning Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year in 1997. Helped ASU win the Pac-10 championship and make it to the 1997 Rose Bowl. Pat was a scholar athlete, earned a 3.85 GPA in marketing and a degree in 3.5 years, showing he valued education as much as football.
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, born in California, goes on to play. I mean, he was a multi-sport athlete. Little thing there to pay attention to, right? He played football, baseball, and wrestling. Like that, known for his intensity and loyalty, right? And then helped his team win a Central Coast championship in football. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very successful athlete coming up as a young kid into his teenage years and into college.
Yeah.
So that's
kind of hard to.
That's pretty
He had
awesome.
a 3.85 GPA. I'm pretty sure that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good. And finished in 3.5 years. So he was
3.5 years of college.
Yeah. Yep. So
yeah,
definitely sounds like a cool dude there in his early life and college years.
Yeah.
Why don't you read his the next segment here on his NFL career?
So he was drafted in the 7th round, the 226th overall pick of the 1998 NFL draft by the Arizona Cardinals. Many teams overlooked him because of his size. 5'11", 200 pounds. That's not a very big linebacker.
No.
So moved from college linebacker to NFL safety, adjusting to the new role with his signature intensity. Known for his relentless playing style, aggressive tackling, and always giving 100%, set a Cardinals franchise record for tackles in 2000, which was 224 tackles in a single season. Stood out not for flashy stats, but for leadership, toughness, and loyalty. Famous for turning down a $9 million offer from the St. Louis Rams to stay loyal to the Cardinals, the team that gave him a chance. Lived modestly, drove a beat-up truck, biked to practice, and shunned the spotlight.
Yeah. The more that after we started talking about this, Pat Tillman, episode, and then, which really was just kind of yesterday, came up with the idea. But I've been reading up on him and kind of studying up and listening to some things today. Like they keep mentioning his intensity and his loyalty, two key factors. And the fact that he turned down
$9 million, which, I mean, I don't know. I think that was probably a good bit of money for a safety back then. Well, still is. Oh,
in
good.
the early 2000s. Yeah. Turning down money to stay loyal to his team. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, $9 million or your team.
Most guys are taking the money,
Yeah.
especially today.
Yeah, absolutely. Nowadays, it's like, for let's just say Jared Goff. Okay, he could stick with the Lions, but he's already making a ton of money. So you could stick with the Lions or make $100 million. Goff would be like, bye bye.
Yeah. But not Pat Tillman. He is a different breed of guy and his character. And we're gonna see that here in this next segment. What's the next bit about here?
The decision to leave the NFL for the Army. So after the 9/11 attacks, Pat felt a deep pull to serve his country. In 2002, he shocked the world by walking away from $3.6 million contract with the Cardinals to join the U.S. Army. Enlisted with his brother Kevin Tillman, Army Rangers.
Both became. They both became Army. Yeah.
I can barely see. Both became Army Rangers. The sports world and the public were amazed by his decision. He was a symbol of selflessness.
Yeah, so 9/11, shook the world, right? Yeah. And there's all sorts of stuff about that, but it definitely shook our country to its core. I mean, the patriotism at the time across the country was undeniable, right? Like everybody was waving their American flags. I remember my neighbor painted her car with the American flag on the hood, and like the patriotism in this country was awesome. I mean, we'd come together, united in this sense of, we were. There was this attack, kind of right, that happened against us. Again, there's more to some of that, but at the time, what we knew or believed that there was this attack against our country, right? And so
we thought that we had to fight.
Yeah, the people came together and were like, "What do we need to do?" Like we're all in.
That's
this.
the thing, like with America or the U.S. It's like something happens and then it's like, okay, well, let's go fight now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, the people here, we do have this sense of community here. We're different. So we all came together. Again, I was young, but like a guy like Pat Tillman playing in the NFL, he made it, making money, had no reason to leave what he was doing. Had already turned down the $9 million contract, which was crazy. He wanted to stay loyal to his team, the Cardinals. And then in 2002...
I think he should have just taken the $9 million, play for 2 years, then join them.
Yeah. Sam Mel says many people enlisted because of that. Yep. A lot of people chose to go and fight for their country afterwards. But you see, Pat Tillman walks away and leaves his career behind and says, nope, I'm going to go fight for my country. Again, definitely a symbol of selflessness. Pretty awesome. So
like, what does that mean? Like caring about other people more than yourself?
Selflessness, yeah, putting yourself aside to help out other people. So like selfishness is focused on yourself, or selflessness is lowering yourself to help others. So, all right. So now,
the next one.
Yeah, go ahead and read the next.
So,
bit there.
The military service and tragic death. So trained at Fort Benning, Georgia, Georgia. Yeah, started at Fort Benning, Georgia, and deployed to Iraq first, then Afghanistan. Served in Operation Iraq Freedom and later Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. On April 22nd, 2004, while on patrol, a remote canyon near Spurg, Afghanistan, Pat's unit was ambushed. In the confusion, U.S. troops mistakenly fired on Pat's group, a tragic friendly fire incident. Initial reports said he was killed by enemy fire, but later investigation revealed he was killed accidentally by his own troops. The U.S. military tried to cover up the truth at first, awarding Pat a Silver Star and releasing a false story about his heroism under enemy fire. His family, especially his mother, Mary Tillman, fought hard to uncover the truth and hold the military accountable.
Yeah, so a couple other things that I had read and listened to about him was like when he originally had enlisted, he was wanting to fight in Afghanistan. And then Bush wanted to go after Saddam Hussein, and so he diverted the troops to Iraq.
Who's that?
He was the, I don't know if it's he was the leader of Iraq. I don't know if he's the president or whatever.
Who was Osama bin Laden with?
He was the leader of Al Qaeda, and that's who Tillman wanted to go fight, was Al Qaeda, and so he was bummed out, from what I understand, that he had to go to Iraq, and then again later on, he was moved into Afghanistan, which was where he wanted to be. And then the part of the story here about his death is very interesting. So,
because it was friendly fire. Well, it was friendly fire, but it was an accident. They didn't know.
Well, so there's more to all that. So initially, it says there, the initial report said he was killed by enemy fire, right? And then,
but later investigation revealed.
Well, hold on. So the U.S. military initially said it was enemy fire, and then they said it was. Then they were going to give him this Silver Star award. They made this big deal about it. You know how he was a hero, and
but
Pat
he would have
came in.
never wanted that.
Well, and then it was just only I think a few weeks later that the truth kind of came out that said it was friendly fire. So the question we need to ask is, well, why did they fabricate a lie to begin with? Right? If
This goes into a whole rabbit hole.
It does. And so why would the government lie about it to begin with? Why not just say, hey, if it was friendly fire, why not just say, hey, unfortunately, it was friendly fire, we had an accident. Instead, they make out this big thing and say he was ambushed, and we're going to give him this Silver Star, blah, blah, blah.
Did his brother die too?
No, he wasn't with I don't think he was with his brother. He was with somebody else. So then the truth comes out, says that it was friendly fire. Well, then what's more to that, and I actually can pull up another note here, is that you have to dig to find the truth on some of this. So,
or the conspiracy.
Well, because his mother has been researching, she's been fighting for the real truth to come out.
Like still, or?
Yeah. So let's look here. His mother has been fighting, blah, blah, blah. So the family believes that Pat's story was manipulated by officials to serve a political purpose.
Can we just read all that?
Yeah, if you want to read, just read from here down. So,
okay,
these are some of the theories or some of the thoughts here. Go ahead.
So some extreme So, some extreme theories suggest the military deliberately covered up the details because Pat had been critical of of the war and U.S. policy. While there was no solid evidence for a deliberate plot, documents show Pat was disillusioned
Yep.
with the war, and he had reportedly planned to speak out after his service. Some believe his high-profile status made the truth of his death particularly sensitive. Official investigation. The Department of Defense and Congress conducted investigations, finding that military leaders had indeed misled the public and Pat's family. No criminal charges were filed, but several officers were reprimanded. The investigations concluded that the cover-up was driven more by
Bureaucratic
mistakes and embarrassment than a deliberate conspiracy.
So yeah,
Pat's story,
you can leave that off now. So yeah, a couple of the truths of it, again, because there's theories, but then what we need to boil back down to is what do we actually know the truths to be. So Pat had been outspoken about what was going on over there when he got in and then started finding out what the media was portraying about what was happening over there was not the truth about what was happening. So he had been upset about that, had been outspoken about that. There was a specific story, and I don't remember the name of the girl right now, but there was a situation over there where a lady was, in the U.S. military had been killed, and our military again covered it up, switched the story around, and he was very outspoken about that as well. And so some of the stuff that they released, number one, so we know that they lied to begin with. And then you know what, we didn't mean to, we shouldn't have lied, we should have just told you the truth. Makes you have to start questioning everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then it starts questioning everything before that.
So then what they actually said, how he died, and again, Memorial Day is a day to
represent or remember
those who have lost their lives, honor and memorialize those who have lost their lives fighting and serving our country, right? And so this guy was over there. The guy, he gave up his career, which is the truth. He was a selfless human, a great athlete, gave up everything to go over there and serve his country. He's over there and ends up dying, right? Those are the hard.
But it wasn't just he died. It was his own people killed him.
Well, I'm just saying those are the facts that we know.
Yeah.
And then from there, yes, now it's questioning, how did he die? Well, initially the government came out and said that he was ambushed. Well, then from there, he wasn't actually ambushed. He was up on a ridge, and because there was an ambush happening at the same time, his own men shot towards that direction, thinking that he was one of the Afghan, whoever, or not Afghans, it would have been Al-Qaeda guys. That's why they shot him, right? But then more reports came out and actually said that when he was killed, it was close range.
Is it meaning it was on purpose?
Meaning that it was potentially on purpose, which, again, you got to question everything. Why is it that they lied to begin with, and then they fabricated that story, they fabricated the next one, and then the real reports actually showed that it was close range? So all of that to say, the guy is still, in my opinion, a hero. And, from an athlete perspective, he was great. And then from a patriot perspective, going to serve our country, and gets over there and starts talking about the truth of the situation. And maybe they killed him on purpose to silence him. That's the theory. That's what I think that's what a lot of people believe, because he was being outspoken about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened. But regardless, he died while he was over there, and it's very unfortunate. So comment coming in, he gave all and they killed him. Yep. Yeah, and that was early days, early 2000s,
Early
pre-social media.
Facebook.
Yeah, pre-social media, pre a lot of that stuff where the government was still doing shady things, and I mean they still do today, but back then they more easily got away with it. I remember seeing his. My dad had I think it was Sports Illustrated with him on the cover, and like there was a lot of media pushed out about him and focused on him and his legacy and his life and that. But the story wasn't the truth.
Yeah.
It was twisted, unfortunately. So, but anyway, why don't we read that last part talking about his legacy? Because Pat, thankfully, people like us were still sharing his story, still talking about him. Many other people too, but
His family.
So, but let's talk about his legacy.
So the Pat Tillman Foundation was founded in his honor to provide scholarships and support for military veterans and their family. Annual Pat's Run, held in Tempe, Arizona, with 4.2 miles, symbolizing his jersey number 42 at ASU. His story continues to inspire athletes, military service members, and everyday people, remembered for his honesty, integrity, and courage, and for volunteering service over personal gain.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, that his legacy carries on. It's unfortunate what happened to him. But yeah, so there's a couple other questions there. Like, what inspires you most about his story?
The question of it, no. Inspires me most to care about other people more than yourself.
Yeah, the selflessness is pretty awesome about him. Yeah, and so like that next question is about like how does his values, how can they apply to sports, school, and everyday life? I mean, you can, when it comes to sports, yeah, the one quick thing real to remind you is the multi-sport athlete is really cool.
Yeah.
Just being more of a well-rounded athlete. The best athletes, in my opinion, are multi-sport athletes, not just those who focus on one sport. And it's good to be well-rounded. So what else? Anything?
I was trying to think of the diamonds saying. I forget what it is.
Something about we raise athletes. What is it?
It's like, we don't just raise sports players, we raise athletes or something.
Exactly. It's a good motto to live by. So Mom chimed in the chat, honesty, integrity, courage.
Us?
Mel says dedication. But yeah, I mean, that's... Any other final thoughts on Pat Tillman? Now you know a little bit more about him, right? These are just kind of highlight cliff note versions of his story, but I definitely encourage you and other people to listen more. There's other far more in-depth podcasts about him and stories and articles and that, but I think we hit all the major talking points.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is about it. Let's just one more time. I think what we'll do is we'll close it out with taps instead of doing our champion song. We'll close it out with taps one last time. But
is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called taps. anything else you want to touch on tonight?
I don't think so.
That's it. I would say stay tuned next week with the Detroit Sports Spectacular. We plan on being there Saturday, Sunday, so we'll have a recap Sunday night. But we should be seeing a lot of athletes. There's going to be a lot of cards and things there. Maybe be getting a couple autographs. And yeah, should be a good time. Hang out with Brett and our friends at JMC Sports. Emery's got a couple baseball games this week.
2.
You excited?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, all right. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Sorry for our technical issues at the front end of the show. I think it had to have been something with the laptop. Once we rebooted her, she's been good. But yeah, other than that, I think that's really it. We should one last quick thing. So yes, episode 20 is coming up, which we're going to push more about that next week, but we've got some cool stuff coming for episode 20.
Yeah.
Some couple changes. You can kind of see we got the American flag waving today. We'll have some different stuff like that happening in the future as well. And some cool stuff. Sound good? All right, let's close it out one last time. Memorial Day. We do thank all of we are grateful and thankful for all the men and women who have served our country and given up their lives to serve us, paying the ultimate sacrifice, right? Those who've lost their lives trying to defend our country, we will always be indebted to. So with that, let's close her out one last time. All right, you guys have a blessed week. Thanks for tuning in. See you again next week, Sunday evening. Take care.